the histogram. So then I will recluster them according to that.
So, 2 clusters.
2 clusters na lang ang gawin mo. Because the phenomenon you want to find out is, can we predict dropout rate by these factors that you're saying? And the histogram of the dropout rate is saying there is some predictor here and another set of predictors there. That's what it is saying to you. Because they are differentiated, no? There are more countries here and there are less countries here. So the predictors here are different from the predictors here.
So, there will be kanang 2 sets na siya of results, sir, for these countries. And then
For these countries. So I would do it that way. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Is that the only... let's go back to your variables again. Suddenly now it just become shorter. Because I used this before. Okay.
Previous.
Let's look at the histogram of the others. If we can have sharper breaks in the histograms, because those can lead you to how to cluster. Sige daw. What do you suspect? What about duration? Duration of composition. How many levels is that?
9.
Hello.
7.
7.
Yes, sir. 9 to 15.
9 years to 15 years. I don't think that's a good way to cut them. Official entries, all the more
The
because
more,
that's
kay only
very...
3, 4, 5 lang.
What about percentage of repeaters? Because that's something on the national standards, right? So maybe that can be. So let's look at histogram of C5. C5. Okay, it's exponential, right? It's going down, and the rate is exponential. And is there an obvious way to break it? Well, the obvious way to break it is 24-30 separate.
Oh.
That's the obvious way to break it. But then, how many countries will there be there? 4 plus 2, 6 only. So I would probably include those that are at level with 24. Okay? Those that are at level with 24. Or, the other thing is, you can cluster them, and the most obvious way to cluster them is all those countries that belong to the highest bar graph is one cluster, and all those countries that are not there will belong together.
23 lang po.
So I will probably cluster it. Ito isang cluster, ito is another cluster, and then I will probably put another cluster here, but maybe you can just join these two. One cluster, join these two, because anyway the distance is very small. And then cluster all of this. So you'll have 3. So marami ka ng choices, but you're still exploring the same concept.
Kana sir, in terms of repeaters, kanang the first one is in terms of dropout rates.
So this one is clustering in terms of repeaters. Sige. I wish that the paper would come out
We're finishing the first one.
I wish that would come out very well written because it's a good thing for national policy in education. But what did we learn from this exercise?
Common sense.
Ayaw dasmag. Ang Tagalog ng dasmag? Wag. Ha?
Huwag
Ayaw
padalos-dalos.
dulos-dulos.
Padalos-dalos.
We always